Today, we're going to be talking about 6 reasons why you are failing your job interview. 6 reasons. Let's go ahead, dive right on in. The first reason why you're failing your job interview is you are talking negatively about your previous or current boss.
God, please, no! No!
There's been numerous times where I've been conducting an interview or one of my hiring managers have done an interview and they've mentioned that this person that they spoke with was a solid candidate, they had some good experience, but they're concerned because they brought up their current or past boss stating that they weren't talking kind about them or that they kind of tanked the interview because they started talking poorly about them. So I urge you, I don't know if it's ever going to be a good time to talk negatively about your past supervisor or your current supervisor, but the number one reason why I've seen people fail their interview is because they are talking negatively about a past boss. The second reason why you're failing your job interview is because when you are asked, tell me about this, tell me about that, tell me about questions, you are not using the STAR method and you are not making your answer clear. What is happening is you're either going on and on, you're either not telling us about a specific situation that occurred, or you're generalizing it. So the second thing I see in interviews where people are making a huge mistake and failing their interview is when you are asked those questions where you should be using the STAR method, situation, task, action, result. People are not using that method. If you don't use it when you're being asked, tell me about a time when this happened, or tell me about a time you experienced that, then you're going to lose people. You're going to lose them, that you're going to allow their mind to drift. You're not going to keep them on track with your story or with the situation. So that's why it is important to use that method. The third thing that I see, and I don't know what to tell y'all about this one, but you're boring. I've had situations where they come back, the managers come back to me and tell me, they were lacking energy, or it just didn't seem like they meshed with the other people who were on the team.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm telling y'all, that all surrounds with this person was boring. That's what they're really trying to tell me. You have to be enthused. You have to sound excited. You have to sound passionate. You don't want to sound boring. There are times when I've talked to people on the phone interview and they sound boring. And I'm just like, what? Everything that happens on the job interview that you're on the phone with me as the recruiter first, I'm telling the hiring manager, it is my actual job to do that. So that's something that you guys have to keep in mind. The fourth thing you're doing on the job interview where you're really failing it and really dropping the ball is you do not really know what is on the job description. I'll admit, I am guilty of that. Back in the day when I used to interview for jobs, I didn't know what job description, I didn't save job descriptions. I didn't have it, I didn't dig deep into it. I didn't have a resource to look back on when I was interviewing for the job. I would have to hurry up and Google it. And then if Google took it down, then I'm out of luck. I'm on a job interview not knowing what the job description said. So that's why this is the fourth reason why you're failing your job interview. You want to know that job description in and out, because if the team that's interviewing you or the manager that is interviewing you is going to be referencing it during your call or during your video interview, by all means, you need to be referencing it too. And you should have been studying off of it.
Well, I'm not going to, ever. Even if there's a fire.
Number 5. This one is so common. Rambling on your answers. Again, this pulls back to the STAR method. This pulls back to giving specific examples. People ramble. You guys have to plan your answers accordingly so that you do not ramble, so that you do not get people kind of just lost in what you're saying. Rambling occurs so often, it is ridiculous. And I'm here to let you know that that is something that you have to practice condensing so that you are not a rambler, so that you do not lose people. Okay? That's what happens when you ramble. You lose people in the ramble. You almost, as a recruiter, as a hiring manager, you just drift off. You have to think about it. We're interviewing so many people. We want to stay on track as to what you're saying. But if you ramble and go on, you next thing I know, I might start emailing somebody else, or, checking a text message that occurred, or looking at another question altogether. So don't ramble. Keep your answers concise. This leads me to the sixth and final point as to why you're failing your job interview. You're not doing what I'm doing right now, which is saying everything aloud, enunciating it, pronouncing things clearly, speaking loudly. What I'm doing is practicing, guys. I'm practicing, and I know it can be uncomfortable, but you have to practice by saying those answers out loud.
What? What?
If you are subscribed to this channel, you're never going to stop hearing me say that because it's so critical. It changed the game when I started practicing my answers out loud. It changed the game when I even took it to another level and started doing mock interviews. That's a total game changer. You want to get used to saying those answers so that you're ready to recite those answers, not verbatim, but in a roundabout way as you practice when it's time for the job interview. Those are the reasons why you're failing your job interview. Those are the things you need to correct. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and subscribe so you can get more tips.